So it has been an impressive start to the 2025 PGA Tour season, and to talk about it, I am joined by Lou Stagner, our data insights lead and the assistant men's golf coach at Princeton. Lou, there's a lot to talk about. I think there's been a lot of impressive wins, and the biggest one that I think stands out, and the one we have to talk about here, is Rory at Pebble. Like, he dominated playing on that golf course, and it looked like he hit shots that no one else really could out there.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. He averaged 336.7 yards off the tee, which is kind of mind-numbing to think about. It is the longest for a winner at Pebble since we've really been keeping stats back in 1983. And I think the crazier stat is he outdrove the next longest player in the field by 17 yards. Just the ninth person since 1983 to achieve that large of a gap over the second longest person that week. So this happens once every 5 years or so, give or take. Just an impressive performance off the tee. I mean, he is one of the best drivers of the golf ball, if not the best driver of the golf ball ever.
The thing that stands out from that number too, is that people always talk about, they're playing at altitude, they're playing at something. It's like, no, Pebble Beach is on the ocean. That was at sea level, and he was hitting it that far. That's pretty crazy.
He can generate some club head speed. I saw a bunch on TV where 190-ish ball speed. That's moving it. That's getting it out there.
Like, to see someone outdrive the next closest competitor by that much is not common, is it at all? Really?
No, I mean, it's only happened 9 times since 1983, and 40-ish events a year, give or take, 40 plus years, 1,800 events, give or take, and it's happened 9 times in 1,800 events. It's pretty good.
Now, Lou, another impressive win came from Sepp Straka out in the desert at the American Express. And there was one thing from his win that really stood out to help him secure the victory.
Sepp had the longest bogey-free streak of his career, 69 holes. So he went nearly the entire tournament without making a bogey. And a streak like that just does not happen very often. That's more than a 1 in 600 or 700 event type of a situation. It's just very rare to go that many holes without making a bogey. You just have to have so many things kind of go your way, and you need to be playing well in order to go that many holes without making a mistake.
Now, again, another win. Now, I might be a little bit biased here. Nick Taylor, he's a Canadian. I happen to be a Canadian. He also won in Hawaii, and I think it did go to a playoff, so he had to battle down the stretch, but he had some things that really stood out from that win.
Yeah, he hit the ball really well. So he led the field and strokes gained tee to green, averaging over 2 shots per round. For the first time in his career, he led that. And he gained 7 shots tee to green on the weekend, which was nearly 2 shots better than the next best player. So just an absolutely dominant performance from tee to green. And anytime you hit the ball that well, you're going to put yourself in a good position.
Now, he's not someone who's done that too often, and this was, I think, the first time he's done that in his career, and obviously it led to a win.
Yeah, absolutely. And hitting the ball that well, it really helps to neutralize some of the variability that you have in putting. There's a lot of variance in putting for all players, and when you can hit the ball that well, that close, that often, it takes a little bit of pressure off the putter. And anytime you do that, it's going to maybe make the game just a little bit easier.
Now, someone who is known very well for getting the ball on the putting surface, although I wouldn't say that his putting always stands out, is Hideki. And to kick off the season in Hawaii, he basically went lights out. I'm sure that's not the technical way that we would describe the way that he played, but he had an unbelievable tournament to kick off the season. And not only did he, I think, was it a scoring record, but I mean, he did a lot of things right that week.
35 under, most under par in a 72-hole event since 1983, which is impressive. Anytime you're going 35 under, you just have to be dialed across the entire game. And he was ranked inside top 16 in all 4 strokes gained categories, which is not surprising given the fact he was 35 under.
Lou, it's kind of crazy to see how low players go at Kapalua, and there was records here that we thought would have stood for a long time, and it feels like over the last number of years they continue to be broken.
I think we have to dial back to Ernie Els in 2003 when he went 31 under, which pretty impressive for doing that 20 plus years ago. And since then, over the last few years, we've had some really low number shots. So yeah, these guys are able to take it deep when you have a golf course that sets up well, and they can make a lot of birdies.
I think it's just a crazy number. You think there's 72 holes in a tournament, and if you divide that by the number of birdies, like they birdie almost every other hole. Like that's pretty insane.
Yeah, making bird on nearly every other hole is pretty impressive. I don't care if the wind is not blowing at all and the greens are flat as a pancake. Birdieing every other hole is just something I'm not familiar with.
Maybe it was the Hawaiian vibes. You just felt relaxed. Everything was working. It was just an easy way to play the golf. Lou, thanks so much for diving into the stats this week. It's been great to break them down and learn a lot more about how these players succeeded on the golf course.
Thanks, Ryan.